my name's Rich Harrington, and welcome to this week's edition of Photoshop for Video. If you joined us last week, we prepped our images in part 1. We went in and we removed the skies, and then we took a series of cloud photos and stitched them together using Photo Merge. Today, we're going to switch on over to After Effects and combine these. Now to do this, you're going to need After Effects that has 3D cameras, so really After Effects 6 or later. Let's jump on in. I've launched After Effects, and I'll double-click in the project window to bring up the Import dialog box. I'm going to grab first the 3 Photoshop documents we made and import those as composition files. That works great, and we'll choose Open. Next, I'll bring in that cloud layer we made. Let's just step up there. There it is, and I'll hit Open as a piece of footage. Now, once these are in, it's pretty simple. We're going to use the Photoshop imported compositions, add the new sky behind it, and then use a 3D camera to create a sense of perspective and motion. Here's how. We'll start with our first castle here. A quick double click will open it up. And let's go ahead and zoom this down so it fits in the window. What I'm going to do is switch my composition settings so it actually fits my normal broadcast spec. So let's go to Composition Settings, and we'll do this as a standard definition broadcast, NTSC D1. Set a duration of 15 seconds and click OK. You see there that only this much of the picture will normally show within the scene. Let's go ahead and make that a 3D layer by clicking the cube icon, and we'll drop the cloud photo down behind. Those clouds are much higher resolution. If we change the color here, a quick right click on the purple, we'll set that to red. Makes it a little easier to see. We've got lots of information there to work with, and that's one benefit of having that larger image. Let's go ahead and add the 3D camera, Layer, New, Camera, and we'll use the standard preset of a 50mm lens. I'll click OK, and to make this easier, we're going to switch this to a 2-camera view. Now, by setting the views to 2 views, this will give you 2 comp windows essentially. In one, we're going to set it to camera view, and that'll show us what's happening through the viewfinder. The other one, I like to use a special view that's really like a God view. So on the left here, we'll click on the left side, I'll set this view to be active camera. Click on the right-hand side, and we'll change this to Custom View 1, which is 45 degrees to the left and 45 degrees up. Let's make sure both layers are 3D layers, and you get a good idea of what's happening. If we zoom in here on the right, the period key will zoom in. It gives you a good idea. You actually see the 3D camera and the 2 layers. Let's go ahead and move things around a little bit in 3D space here. I'm going to select the clouds layer and hit P for position, and then move that back along the Z-axis so it's a little bit further away. There we go. You just want to get a little bit of separation between the 2 layers. We now can move that layer, and the easiest way to do this is with Anchor Point. I'll press A for Anchor Point and turn on my stopwatch. Now, let's go ahead towards the end of the composition and slide this along the horizontal axis. There we go. And the clouds drift on by. The speed at which the clouds move is really up to you. It can be a very slow movement, so it's natural, or faster for stylistic purposes. Now I want you to notice one thing here. We have some decimal points. If you import an image that's an odd number of pixels, you're going to get a half pixel for your anchor point or position. You'll want to get rid of that because the half pixels really cause problems. You get sub-pixel resampling. So let's go ahead here and we'll just remove that decimal point. And we'll do the same here for the next layer. And let's check our first frame as well. Move to the first keyframe, and we see we have that there too. Okay, let's do a quick RAM preview. And you'll see that the clouds float on by. That seems to be moving at a nice speed. Fast enough for style, but not too fast that it's distracting. I'll now grab my 3D camera, and we're going to do a little bit of a move. Twirl down transform, and the 2 things you'll use the most are going to be position and point of interest. position is where the camera is located. Point of interest is what it's pointed at. So as you sweep a camera around, if you keep the point of interest the same, the camera is going to sweep around a point, but still stay focused on that point. You can animate both. The key here is to know that you can control them separately, and this creates a more natural looking movement. Let's go ahead and adjust the position here. I'm going to swing the camera to the left, and I want to get a little bit of an angle. I'm also going to start the camera a little further back, so we have a wider frame of view. That looks good. Let's come down here to the end, and we're going to sweep the camera back to the right. Notice it's a lot easier when you see both camera views, because you can actually see a preview of what's happening with the camera. And we'll go ahead and pull the camera back a little bit, so it's got a wider frame of view. And I could pull all the way back until I start to get overshoot at the edges. We're getting pretty close to the edge there. Notice the purple and red boxes give me a good idea of when I'm coming up on the edge of my photo. And that looks like a pretty good place to stop. Let's drop the preview resolution to 1/4, and we'll click Preview, and we'll get a good idea of the motion. And there you have it. We've got the clouds floating by, the camera swings through, looks pretty good. We could, of course, tweak those keyframes with a little bit of ease to get some more natural motion. That looks nice. Let's go ahead and select our starting keyframes, and we'll say Keyframe Assistant, ease out. And I'm going to tweak the point of interest here a little bit. Let that drift a little to the left. And we'll select those keyframes and say ease in. That worked out nicely. And if I look at my path here, let's zoom out just a little bit. I could actually click on my position path and come up here and grab the pen tool. Within the pen tool is the Convert Vertex tool, and this allows me to actually convert this to an arced path. And in fact, you see we can get a little bit of handles there to make that a little more natural. Let's preview that at half quality, and we'll take a look at it. So what you're seeing there is fairly natural animation. In fact, you could take photographic sources and use this to create high-definition footage for use in a video project. I find that we use these techniques for everything from stylized opens to documentary storytelling. In all, it's a great way to really advance your photographs to another level of storytelling. So, hopefully you see a lot of potential for this technique. This is just one of the many motion control techniques that we use here at my studios. Feel free to explore this with your own pictures, and it really works great as a storytelling device. My name's Rich Harrington. You can find out more over at our resource blog at photoshopforvideo.com, and be sure to join us next week for more tips. Thanks again.